Welcome to all of my devious Dynasty degenerates out there. How do you guys like that for alliteration? Out there in the fantasy world. The season is almost here. We are one day away, and I can almost taste it. So, guys, you put in the work this summer. All your hard work is ready to come to fruition. It's going to pay off. And tonight, we're going to be bringing you our picks for the most impactful rookies of the 2024 seasons. So it's kind of like a superlative award show night. So because of this special night, my partner in crime, we invited a very special guest to help make you all better informed. Hey, Rich, can you do me a favor? Can you treat me right now like a long-winded acceptance speech at one of those award shows? And play that wrap-up music for me right now. Let's go.
Wrap it up.
Hello, everybody. This is another episode of Fantasy and Frames Dynasty 365. Albert, we see you in the chat as always. Thank you, everybody who is tuning in on YouTube or if you're listening to us via our podcast. Tonight's going to be a great show. We're going to have a lot of fun, so we appreciate you all hanging out with us. Remember, while you're with us, post your comments or questions or whatever you have in the chat, or you can tweet us. We'll reach out to you as soon as we can. If you have any trade or roster questions, we'll answer those too. And the season starts tomorrow. If you got lineup questions, I'll let the two people with me answer those because I don't know if you want my starting guys, but we'll do that also. And tonight, like I said, we got a special guest that is going to help us tonight as we talk a little bit about these rookies going into the 2024 season. But before we get you got to know who he is. So let's go ahead and let's introduce my man. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty FP. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Garrett, 15 years playing fantasy football, player profilers, YouTube manager. He hosts and created the Dynasty Football Show. This guy is absolutely marvelous at what he does, and we are so glad to have him on the show. Alex, Mr. Dynasty Football Key himself. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yes, sir.
People unlock their championships or what?
Yes, sir. Hey, that's what we're going to do here in 2024, man. I'm locked in, and I'm going to help you guys find the keys to win your league. So, hey, stay tapped in. You can find me at Dynasty F Key on Twitter, and on YouTube, I'm Dynasty Football Key. So, check me out. We're in this every single day, man. So, we're not going to forget about Dynasty even when the season rolls around, but I will help everybody if you got some in-season questions. But excited to be on here with you guys, man. Appreciate the intro, and I'm ready to roll.
I love it. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome. Thanks for hanging with us. Rich, my man, it is good to see you tonight, man. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm 24 hours from now, gonna be sitting with a cold beer, getting ready to watch kickoff. Okay. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
That's right. Kickoff is coming up, as we talked about. And, there wasn't any major news or notes that happened in the week. Jamar Chase, he returned to practice, which I think a lot of people figured that he was going to play anyway with those 2 years left in the contract. Not a whole lot of leverage. Ayuk, he got paid, and I feel like a lot of people have talked about that a lot. Anything happened in particular that makes you guys excited, or better yet, let me ask you, what storylines of the 2024 season excite you the most right now? Alex, we'll start with you.
Man, well, look, for me, I'm wanting to see, with this Green Bay Packers situation, I want to know who's the wide receiver one there. I want to know if can Christian Watson live up to the hype, and now that he's got the symmetrical calves or whatever he's got going on there. I want to know who's the wide receiver one there because Dubes was dominating with touchdowns. It seems like even in this offseason, that's one of Jordan Love's go-to guys, and he's kind of being left for dead by a lot of fantasy gamers. But Jordan Reed's getting a lot of love. It just seems like there's so much potential with all of these wide receivers in that offense. So that's one where I just want to know how that pans out. Because then we'll be able to, even still get some values if we go after some of those guys while people are sleeping on them.
Okay, I like that. Rich, going to come to you next. All right, so you can't talk about the NFC North.
Oh man, that's literally where, all right.
Not the NFC North. What storylines are exciting you about the season? No, you can talk about your NFC North if you want.
Well, I mean, no, I'll stay out of the NFC North. That's where that's my bread and butter. So branch out a little bit here. No, I would have to go with what's going to happen with the Atlanta Falcons and their pass game and everything. Like I'm really excited to see. I mean, you all know Kyle Pitts, tight end 1. That hamstring injury today has got me worried. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. But beyond that, though, I mean, I really want to see how Drake London takes a step forward now that he's got Kirk Cousins throwing him the ball. I'm interested to see Darnell Mooney. Like, I really like Darnell Mooney this year, and he doesn't seem to be getting any traction whatsoever. So,
okay, I just picked him up today.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a good call right there. Cousins likes to spread the ball around, and he's going to target Mooney. So,
okay, I mean, those are good enough. So for me, like the storylines that I want to see play out, I just like to see, like, when the masses are wrong. And for some reason, like, everybody is just really thinking that the Jets are like them guys. And I'm not so convinced. Now, I can't tell if it's just a little haterness in my heart, AFC foe or not. But, Aaron Rodgers, if you just listen to the way everybody's talking, it's like they expect Aaron Rodgers to be good for like 6 wins by himself. I mean, is it going to be that? So that they have like a talented roster. Their defense is legit. Like, top 5, arguably, possibly even top 3 defense right now going into the season. And that offense, I mean, they got weapons. Like, Brees is that dude. Garrett Wilson is supposed to be that dude. And they said that they didn't do it all because they didn't have a quarterback last year. I kind of feel that if your team is built, correctly, that your quarterbacks, you can hide some of that stuff. So, but the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers play really in Green Bay, he really didn't look that spectacular. He was getting beat by the Giants, so they didn't make the playoffs. But is he really going to be the savior that's going to bring? I hear people say they're going to look like AFC Championship game. Like, is Aaron Rodgers really going to take that team to the AFC Championship game?
Yeah, well, Bills, they got to take a step back, right? I mean, the thing is, they might not. The Bills are actually still a sleeping giant. That's another storyline you want to watch, right? You want to see can Josh Allen be Patrick Mahomes, where you lose Tyreek, aka Stephon Diggs, and can you still do something? You're not gonna, maybe not a Super Bowl. It's right. Tyreek light, but you know what I mean? Like, can he develop the young talent around him instead of just relying on a Stephon Diggs type of go-to target? So it'll be tough for Rodgers and them to beat those guys. The defense is great, though. You got to give a lot of credit to Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. There's some good players on that side of the ball that kept a lot of those Jets games close, including the Week 1 Bills matchup where they lost Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they still won that game without Rodgers. So now that you insert Rodgers, can you go beat the Bills again? I mean, the Bills have less talent. The Jets added a Rodgers. I think it's possible. That's one of the ones where I am rooting to at least give us something Rodgers Week 1. Okay. We need a little more than last time, but I think the big threat is really just the Dolphins. And when it gets cold, maybe the Jets can actually thrive there because Rodgers is used to the cold weather out in Green Bay.
That is true. And Rodgers always gives the Dolphins fits. Like, when he was in Green Bay, like, he used to get on my nerve. I hated when he came to Miami because I knew happy with that. But Rodgers, like, how's Rodgers? He's mid-40s now, and he's coming off that Achilles injury. Is he going to be better? Like, because one of the biggest things with Rodgers, like, he had that mobility where he could slide out of the pocket, look downfield, and then they could make something out of nothing. Is he going to have that, that little juice to get away from those defenders coming at him? I really don't know. So I really want to see what happens with that. And I would really love if consensus is wrong and the Jets are absolutely terrible. Like, I would love it if they lost every game this season. Them, the Bills, and the Patriots. All right, now that might be a little homerism.
Hey, let's see the Dolphins make some noise. Fastest team in the league. Let's go.
That's right. Alex, I like you. I like you a lot, man. I like
it. Yeah, man. They play against the other Florida team, so it's going to be a battle down there. And just while we're talking about it, Brian Thomas Jr. over there, that's a guy I want to see if he can take a role, this year. Is Christian Kirk really going to be the wide receiver one all season long? Maybe it's a 2025 play, but I want to see what he can do over there.
Okay, I like it.
We'll get to see his debut week 1 versus y'all.
Yes, I'm excited about it. Oh, Alex, I'm gonna ask you what your thought is on this also. So this is kind of leading into like our 2024 storylines. Actually, I can't believe I didn't think about this, but what I am most excited to see who is going to have a better fantasy football season. Is it going to be Curtis Samuel or Khalil Shakir?
Yeah, great question. I'm a big Curtis Samuel fan, and I'm going to lean Curtis Samuel, man. This guy's super explosive, and it sounds like he's recovered from this little injury that he had. Look, y'all saw those Khalil Shakir highlights in the offseason. I mean, the guy can play, and I've got him stashed in some spots. I want it to work out. But I feel like Curtis Samuel, when he was at Carolina, it was the injuries that kind of just held him back, and he was decent for Washington. I'm rooting for Curtis Samuel on this one. But look, it's a young man's game, so I wouldn't be surprised if Shakir does something.
Okay. I guess I can forgive you for that. So, a little backstory for you. Go ahead, Rich.
No, I was just going to say, Alex, I'm really liking you too. I'm loving this.
Oh, so you got Samuel over Shakir then. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all had this battle before.
Yeah, we got a pot bet riding on it. So he won the challenge, my gangster by saying that Shakir wasn't going to be that guy. So we got a pot bet riding on it, and I'm just we will see. So I'm asking everybody that I talk to, how do they feel about it? And right now I feel like I'm kind of like I'm losing that popular consensus battle, but I'm holding strong. All right, fellas. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like our second topic tonight, we're just going to be talking about our Dynasty award picks. And so with these players, we're actually going to giving you guys like kind of our insight on who we think are going to be some impactful rookies for Dynasty. I'm going to talk with the rookie of the year, the best rookie, quarterback, running back, tight end, and everything like that. And at the end, we're going to give you who our pick is for a fantasy MVP for the season. So just keep it fun, keep it light. But we'll start off with the rookie of the year, the Roy. Everybody's crazy about it. Everybody's thinking about it. So, Mr. Dynasty Football King, I'm going to come to you first, right? Who is your pick for Rookie of the Year this year?
All right, my pick for Rookie of the Year is Marvin Harrison Jr. And look, this guy, he had great college seasons with Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, even, Mecca Ibuka, and still was dominant. This guy, 2.98 yards per out run. I mean, that's higher than either of those other guys that were on the team with him. And you saw him go through two different quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Kyle McCord, and he still put up back-to-back 14 TD seasons with 1,200 yards each. So the guy can play. We understand that, is a Biletnikoff Award winner. He didn't do testing, right? That's okay because we do actually have some, radar gun readings on him. What I saw was 21.7. And last year in the NFL, there were only 30 players who even ran above 21 miles per hour. So we don't need the testing to know that Marvin Harrison Jr. is actually good. And, there's another rookie I like, but Marv has a better quarterback. I think he's going to be able to just put up more touchdowns than some of the other rookies. And I think that's going to increase his floor a little bit, having that quarterback with him to grow with into the future. And, it's just the guy's numbers are incredible, man. He barely missed any games, got the prototypical wide receiver size. So, really exciting talent, really savvy route runner and things like that. So, I mean, this is the guy I've got for Rookie of the Year. No matter whether it's super flex or one quarterback, that's Marvin Harrison Jr. for me.
Okay. And that's pretty strong. Like if you look at FanDuel's like odds right now for the Rookie of the Year, Marvin Harrison Jr. is plus 650, which is not.
Wait a second. You said fantasy Rookie of the Year. Yeah, now you're gonna switch it on me.
All right, so you weren't supposed to catch that, but I am trying to switch it on you just because it's going to make sense. Like when you hear like my picks throughout the night. But yes, the fantasy rookie of the year. So okay, yes, we're giving a little bit of everything. But Rich, let's come to you, my friend, because we actually share the same like our pick for rookie of the year. Who you think is going to be?
All right, so I'm going back to the NFC North because that's where I like to sit. No, I'm going with Caleb Williams. I think that he is set up so beautifully there in Chicago. Like they did everything that they could to get him the weapons that he's going to need to be able to produce, to be able to succeed. Between DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and then drafting Rome Odunze as well. Like it's a I can't think of the right terminology.
Crazy.
Anyways, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yes, no, exactly. Yeah, like it's nuts the weapons that he has. Like he gets to choose, who you're going to guard really when it comes down to it. So, and plus, like I like what they did in the run game to help balance things out for him, to make it so that he will have a little bit of room to be able to throw and whatnot. Plus, his ability to scramble and extend the play is just insane. So I do think that, I mean, everybody's already talked about it. He is the best quarterback in this rookie class. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Okay. All right. I like that. And so, Steve, we see your question in the chat where you're about to ask if we have differences between fantasy rookie and on the field play. And yes, that's why I specified, as we're starting this, we're talking about our rookies. I mean, our fantasy like rookies and everything, because I mean, if you just look at it like on the field play, it's not necessarily indicative of fantasy football points. Like Justin Fields, when he was playing last year, was killing it, but a lot of people were not impressed with his actual football play on the field. And Dynasty Rehab, like he's throwing out there Drake May, like,
ooh.
Yeah.
Because one of the things when I was thinking of this beforehand was I was wondering, does ADP play into this at all? Or if you're so I think rookie of the year, like a Puka Nacua last year coming out of nowhere, does he get like, CJ Stroud is rookie of the year? It's hard to deny, but still Puka made a case coming out of nowhere from the fourth round off the top rope or wherever you drafted him. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Absolutely. It's so true.
And May's going. I've seen it go in some drafts at the 9th pick as the offseason kind of went further along, because it was just kind of more and more likely Brissett was going to start, so people were losing a little bit of faith. So right. I mean, back end of the first round quarterback who, has physical traits to be a Josh Allen type and just maybe goes off. Maybe Brissett starts 2 games and then you've got May just killing it. Crazy things have happened.
Yeah, that is true. I think like with Drake May, I think the thing that will slow him down a little bit is that Gerard Mayo, he doesn't feel like there's no pressure at all. His seat is as cold as it is in the NFL. Like he does not have to do anything that he doesn't feel comfortable doing just because he's got a really, really long leash. So if he feels that Drake May needs a little more like seasoning, a little time to just sit there and he can bring him in exactly when he knows he's ready, he doesn't have to force it, then that might keep him on the sideline a little bit longer, especially nobody's expecting the team to be good. And Jacoby is definitely a serviceable, vet that can actually like provide you some things. So if you can protect May and bring him along slow, it'll work better for him in the long run, kind of. But yeah, I also had Caleb Williams just because the NFL, it's a quarterback league. Like they love their quarterbacks, and the award is always going to start with the quarterback, and then it's going to be the quarterbacks to lose. So for someone other than a quarterback to actually take it, I think it's going to be tough. And because Caleb Williams actually has the name cachet right now, like he is the big name of this class, all those voters, they're not as degenerate as us. They're not digging in all these things, looking at this stuff back in March, so they're going to be riding that name until he just plays himself out of, if he does. But if he has a decent season, then that's what's going to happen with that. So that's why Caleb Williams is my guy. And Rich already nailed everything. So there's really nothing that I need to add to it, except that I just hope that he goes out there and balls out. I hope he does better than Bills did.
Right.
Absolutely. And it seemed like we don't have much to say for the next award.
All
This
right.
will be all Chris talking.
So we just gave you guys our picks for Rookie of the Year. And like I said, not necessarily, one is going to dictate the other. So now we're going to talk about who we think the best rookie quarterback is going to be for fantasy. All right. Not just a Rookie of the Year. And you guys, like Alex and Rich, you guys both have the same guy. And you pretty much said all your talking points for Caleb. Well, I'll ask you right now, is there anything that you want to say about Caleb, or do you want me to talk about who my pick is for the best?
Well, I'll at least say, my pick for best rookie quarterback is Caleb Williams. And, sometimes you want to just put out the other names, just because we're doing a show, we want to talk about other players. Yeah. But, Caleb Williams is just looking so incredible on his own. But then the team putting all the weapons around him, the way that they have, being aggressive, going to get Keenan Allen, like you don't see that type of move that often from any team, trying to set up a rookie quarterback. And then you also have the DJ Moore that was already there, and then bring in a top 10 wide receiver. This is, those are two big additions in the same season to put on top of DJ Moore. So, get into Rome Odunze. I'm just feeling great about how they've set him up in the short term and the long term to just keep growing and getting better. But the guy looks phenomenal, and I think he's got a sneaky rushing floor. In the preseason, he was running some stuff in, we're going to get more out of him than we think. Early in this season, the offseason, I was quick to say, hey, Jaden Daniels is just going to outrush this guy, and he is going to outrush him. But I think Caleb will at least get, 400 rushing yards, something like that. We'll see what he can pull off, but he's just going to be able to get it done with his arm, get it done on the ground, and he's just going to be an all-around awesome player to have on your teams.
Absolutely. Embarrassment of riches. That was the term I was trying to think of before.
Yeah, there you go.
Embarrassment of riches.
Yes, but let me ask you this. If Eberflus is your coach, does that kind of take the luster of those riches off a little bit?
Man, they can't wait to get Bill Belichick in there or something. So it might not even matter. They just might not extend the guy. And
I'll tell you what. If Belichick goes to coach like the Bears, I want to see that reality show of him dealing with Caleb Williams, because I think that would be phenomenal. Belichick and Caleb Williams, you talk about two different dudes.
Yeah, right. But you get a chance to see his personality. He's on that show now. Were you about to say something about that, Rich?
No, I was just going to say, going back in time a little bit, I loved the videos that you saw of him with Randy Moss.
Oh, okay.
Going to when he invited him to that Halloween party and everything. And then he showed up to the Belichick showed up to the Halloween party dressed up I think he'd do well with
Bill,
Caleb
Bill's
Williams.
cool. Bill's cool.
Yeah, Bill is cool, but I'm just saying, so Caleb's one of these new dudes,
Randy,
he's just country, but Caleb's one of these new dudes that, everything's a vibe, and I really don't think Bill Belichick understands, this is a vibe. He's like, what do you mean? But it would be great to watch, I tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, so my pick for the best rookie quarterback, Dynasty Rehab is already kind of throwing it out there a little bit. My pick for the best quarterback is going to be Jaden Daniels. And
love it.
Dynasty Rehab is actually doing my job for me. And I really think the main reason is going to be the legs. Now, Alex, you did touch on that, but you did mention how, Caleb Williams does have a sneaky rushing floor, which I agree with you, but I do think that Daniels will do a little bit more than that. And it's going to be a dual threat quarterback, which is great. That's what you like, the whole term Konami code, whatever. But he's going to come to Washington, and it's going to be a team that's looking for a new identity right now. They've cleaned house and they've done some other things. So what's going to happen? You're going to bring in Jaden Daniels. He's got that versatility, and it's highly valuable just because he's going to score points with his legs, which is something that you want to do. The only thing that you worry about with him getting outside the pocket and moving along is, those cartoonish hits that he took in college. I'm just sitting there how does somebody get hit that hard, playing the sport? But outside of, this vision might be a little suspect, he does have a high football IQ, and he does make good decisions when he does move the ball. That college experience, when he was out there, he was playing high level, in the SEC, and his performance has showed growth and consistency throughout that season, which is something that you are looking forward to when it comes into the NFL. He also has that strong arm and the deep passing ability, which It's also, he's got to avoid those hits.
Yeah.
But, the strong arm and the passing ability, like making all those is just something that you really are looking forward to. And when it gets back to just his adaptability and his athleticism, if it's breaking down, which it might happen, like in the pocket or whatever, he's going to get out there and he can run, or he can still keep his eyes downfield. He might find McLaurin or who knows, De'Ami Brown. I really don't know who the other receiving threat's going to be right now, but I think that he's going to be good. With
LMC.
Upside. Who's that?
LMC, LFG.
Oh,
Luke McCaffrey. Let's effort go.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Ben Sinnott. I can't wait to see what he does there.
Yeah. Hey, I on the Washington fan podcast, I already predicted Ben Sinnott top 10 tight end season incoming. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. I
dig it.
Are you worried about Ertz being named the starter?
Nah. Ertz didn't do too much with Arizona. He had a bunch of targets and just wasn't doing anything with them. The points weren't following. I think he's going to be in more of a mentor role. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. All right. And do you seriously think Luke is going to do something? Yeah, he's a rookie.
No, I don't. But I think it'll be Terry McLaurin season, and the rest will be kind of passed around because we've seen Washington do this for years. I know a lot of things are different there now, but they've really for years just had McLaurin and a bunch of other guys, and they're fine with that.
Okay. Yep. All right. So we've talked about our quarterbacks, and let's just go ahead and keep it moving. So we're going to talk about who is going to be the best rookie running back going into the season. And Alex, you're the guest, so you're always going to be up first. So who's your best rookie running back pick?
Well, yeah, man, you can see the jersey in the back. I'm a Texas guy, and I got Jonathan Brooks as my RB1 here, man. Look, Jonathan Brooks, I mean, really great metrics at Texas, right? We know he's coming off the ACL, and we know he's not playing these first 4 games of the season, which, that's unfortunate, but still, I mean, the guy has the size, 6 foot, 216 pounds, and he produced even with missing those games, 1,400 yards, and for me, draft capital always matters. Mm-hmm. Like the second round to me is almost like, commitment wise from the team is almost like a first round commitment. As far as how I'm treating it going into my drafts, if I see that, that's a red light blinking that I need to go draft that guy pretty much no matter what. And 46 overall. Really, I didn't see too much with his profile other than the injury that I didn't like. Over 6 yards per carry, 10 plus rushing touchdowns, 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards, like I said. I mean, really only Bijan had done that the year before, another Texas running back. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's Bijan, but the numbers are similar. Even though he missed some games there at the end of the season. So it's just a matter of can he get back on the field this year to put a dent in it. But one of the first things I was thinking about when I was preparing for this, I'm like, the other running backs in the class, they're not starting week 1 either. They're sitting on the bench too. So who's going to just take a huge step to outshine Brooks by the time he gets back healthy? You're going to need a injury to maybe a James Conner for a Trey Benson to have that type of an impact early on enough to supplant what maybe Brooks can do. And we already have Marshawn Lloyd out of the picture potentially for week 1. Those were the top 2 other backs. So now you need a Blake Corum to get the injury luck from Kyron over there. Otherwise it's getting really thin as far as who you can imagine is going to step up and be that RB1. So for me, I'm thinking Jonathan Brooks and the way that the Carolina Panthers have constructed the team around him, he's the focal point of the team, in my opinion. It's not the quarterback because they invested over $100 million in offensive linemen this offseason to make sure to protect the quarterback. But I think it's because they want to switch to just run heavy type of offense, limit the amount of passes that Bryce Young has to do. So Jonathan Brooks is going to be helping Bryce Young and potentially getting some dump off passes as well because he can be a pass catching back. So I like Jonathan Brooks and everything he's going to bring to the Carolina Panthers this season.
Okay. And
absolutely.
Dynasty rehab before Rich gets into his, you're absolutely right. Most of the nation can definitely get hurt this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Wright. He could pop up. We'll see.
Yeah. Rich, I'm going to ask you who your pick is, although, I got a feeling that, I've already heard some stuff about him.
Yeah. No, Alex hit it all right perfectly too. Jonathan Brooks is my guy. Like he was saying, not too many other guys have a chance to actually get into that starting role. Like I think that like even if James Conner gets hurt, I still think he's the guy there. And I think that like Trey Benson will fill in, but he'll end up taking that bench again once Conner comes back. Like I just see this happening where Conner will have like 1 or 2 weeks out where he's just banged up a little bit, needs to rest, and then he'll come back again. Yeah. So yeah, I like Trey Benson and everything, but Jonathan Brooks has definitely got the best path to touches. And I love what the one thing that I would add to what Alex was saying was I love what Canales does with his backs. I love what he does with his offense as a whole. And so I think that I think he's going to get him involved. And like you were saying in the past game too, we saw what he did last year with Rachaad White. And and so
top 5 pass catching running back or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And Jonathan Brooks is no offense to Rachaad White, but he's a better running back than Rachaad White is. So I'm all in on Jonathan Brooks this year.
Okay. I mean, everything you guys have said about Jonathan Brooks makes perfect sense. And I agree with what you're saying about Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks is not my pick for the rookie.
Okay.
And the main reason that he is not my pick for the rookie running back for the 2024 season, the team that he plays for, like ever since Tepper has come to town, like it's like you're just watching the plane like slowly crash and you just feel so bad. Last year was absolutely terrible. I felt so bad for everybody who was on that team just because it's like it was a boat without a rudder. Like they had no leader to guide them. Tepper, he hired all these people, didn't listen to anything all these smart people told him, and then he fired them all when it wasn't going the way he thought it would be because he made them do something that they did not want to do. Bryce Young, he's there, no help, like no leadership. The whole coaching staff, they're gone. So he's sitting there like, and the only person that he could rely on was Adam Thielen. And this offense now, I'm looking at it. I mean, are they markedly better? I really don't know. They've done some things. They brought Deontay Johnson in. They've done some things to the line. So it might be a little bit better, but I really feel that offense is going to be so anemic that whatever meat is on that bone that Jonathan Brooks can get is just not going to be enough to catapult him.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Alex, you hit it perfectly. Like all these other running backs are behind somebody else. I'm going with Trey Benson because, hey, he is behind James Conner. And you guys said all the reason, like Conner, like Rich, I agree with you. Conner's going to be the dude once Conner gets injured because he seems to miss like 4 games a season at least. Then Benson will come in there when Conner comes back. Then, Benson goes back to that secondary role. But what I like about Benson, I like his combination. He has that size and speed. He has that ideal like NFL. Like he looks like an NFL running back, and his physicality allows him to break tackles and gain those extra yards, which is good out there in the desert. He's shown like proven production and breakout potential. When you see what he's done in college and everything, you're like, okay, this guy can actually get it done if he has a chance. And I think it would be nice to see what happens. He also possesses that 3-down skill set. He can catch the ball a little bit. He does pretty much what James Conner does. I wouldn't say he does anything better than James Conner, but what he has that James Conner doesn't is youth. James Conner is entering his age 29 season. And we know, so running backs, the running back cliff, it's been extended a little bit as nutrition and, just weight training just prolongs these guys' career. But going into your age 29 season as a running back, you are a geriatric. And talking about somebody who has shown consistently throughout his career that he's missing like 2 to 4 games each season, I kind of think that it's going to catch up with him a little bit, and he might miss a little bit more than that, which would give Benson pretty much, time to actually do some things. If Chuba Hubbard goes down, I mean, Jonathan Brooks is probably going to get the lion's share. If Conner goes down, I think that Benson's going to get a majority of it, but, there's still like Mercado, he's still there, or some other ancillary pieces. But I just think that he will actually get a chance to play more in a better offense than what is in Carolina. So the only thing pulling me back from Brooks is the fact that he plays in Carolina, because I don't trust anything that team does until I see it, because David Tepper, I've said it before and I'm sticking with it. I think he is one of the worst owners in professional sports.
Yeah, throwing drinks in fans' faces. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
Because my whole thing with that, like, you throw the drink in somebody's face, if you're man enough to throw a drink in somebody's face, stand there and face the consequences.
Yeah.
Don't walk away as you're throwing the drink, like, and don't be, seeing signs in Carolina, in Charlotte, and then you go in there and you cuss out a hostess because they said something about you on the sign. You're like, yeah, you are terrible the way you're running the Panthers. Like, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. Hey, good reason to be concerned. Well, Steven says, what about Dave Canales effect? QBs get better, byproduct. So do the RBs. Yeah. Yeah, man. Look, I do think that they're in a spot where you had asked the question to yourself, like, hey, is this offense actually better? Well, week 1, it's not really, because like, you basically only added Deontay Johnson for week 1. And can this team even survive by the time Brooks is ready to go? You know what I mean? So there's still a scenario where I could see Brooks getting shut down early for the season if it becomes a lost season. And I could still see, with Trey Benson, he could be the best, considered the best rookie if Connor goes down just week 10 and Benson's the guy those final 6 weeks. If that happens, that'll just change people's minds and they'll give him the crown.
That's true. Yeah, because recency bias reigns supreme when it comes to these awards, especially in the fantasy community.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care what you did, like, nobody's paying attention to what Jordan Love did the middle of the season when they were like, oh, this guy can't play quarterback no more. But he was on fire at the end of the season. They were like, he's the greatest quarterback that's ever come. Like, the Packers done it again. But I remember what you guys said in the middle of the season.
Yeah. And one of the basic rules of fantasy is, get players on good teams. So it's kind of the opposite for the 2 players we picked, right? So, I can definitely see people being conflicted in 2025 if Benson has a good year on a good team and, the Panthers are still the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm just happy that I'm not a Panther fan, because I used to live in Charlotte. So I know, like, a handful of Panther fans.
Yeah.
And it's comical.
No, hey, Panthers got some great content creators, though. And they love their squad, man. And that's one of the storylines that maybe the number 1 in the league. Can Bryce Young get it done?
I would love to see that. I would love to see Canales be the QB whisperer and do it again. And then, like, because I want Bryce to succeed, because I just felt like he had an unfair shake his rookie season. Like, he didn't choose where he went. Yeah, and nothing went well when he got there. But, Bryce, if you're paying attention to the show, I know that you love Fantasy and Frames and Dynasty 365. Thanks for tuning in, Bryce. I do have a little bit of advice. If you want people to stop thinking of you like as a little kid, because you're not a big dude, stop wearing backpacks. Like, he looked like he was back to school. Like, he's going to training camp and he's got his backpack on. It looked like he had every book for every class in it, and then his shoes. I love you, Bryce.
You're just tearing people down today.
And like,
low-hanging fruit.
He's holding the Bojangles box and the Bojangles picnic box. Rich, I don't know if you know what that is or whatever, but it's like a big box that comes with the box of chicken, like your sides, and like a half gallon of sweet tea in it. So it's a big yellow box, and he's holding it, and the box is bigger than he is.
Like, I can see that as a meme, man. That's so funny.
Like, tell your team to, like, give you like smaller size stuff where it looks bigger. You're like, where you look bigger. Yeah. We're gonna move on from the Panthers. I love them. We're gonna go to best rookie wide receivers.
Yeah.
Alex, once again, as the guest, you have honors, my friend. Who are you picking for your best rookie wide receiver this year?
39 minutes into the show, and we saved the best. Let's go. Malik Neighbors. That's going to be my number 1 best rookie wide receiver. And yeah, look, I just said Marvin Harrison is going to win the, rookie of the year, but that's because I'm factoring in the fact that just Marv is just so set up long term. We're going to end this season, and Malik Neighbors is going to immediately have quarterback questions, right?
Mhm.
So I don't want to put him into the fantasy rookie of the year, because I think there's Marv is just too set up for success. I'm being a little bit realistic there, but for me, Malik Neighbors, he's actually the reason I started trying to make different type of just statistical databases, and ended up partnering with Fantasy Good Sports Phenom Finder. And I mean, Malik Neighbors, spoiler alert, he's up there on the chart, man. This is an athletic freak. All right. Malik Neighbors, God, he 3.81 yards per out run, leading the class there. Had the 86 receptions on 120 targets, 14 touchdowns, 1,550 yards. I mean, the guy's putting up huge numbers. Number one PFF graded wide receiver. Malik Neighbors is set up being on the Giants as the number one option day one. He doesn't have a Trey McBride breathing down his neck. It's just him. Maybe Wan'Dale Robinson does something, but he's going to play a different role. And I just think Daniel Jones, being a short read, quick read, one read type quarterback, he's going to be looking Malik Neighbors' way all day, man. And I think Malik Neighbors has the swag and confidence to take advantage and actually live up to the hype. The news that was recent this past week, the Giants in their 100th year anniversary unretired a number for the first time ever, and gave it to Malik Neighbors, number one. I mean, he got the blessing from the family, and it's just like, wow. I mean, they have a lot of confidence in him, and the guy's really just crazy exciting. And you look at the numbers, they're up there with his former LSU mates, and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. He had a less drop rate, more yards per out run, breaking way more tackles than those guys. So, Neighbors, he's just crushing in just so many metrics. It's just kind of not fair, dude. So I think this guy's going to come out, be scoring 15 points a game for us. He's got a shot to just put up some really crazy numbers and have an incredible rookie season.
I mean, I agree with everything you said. Like, I was sitting there for Malik Neighbors. He's my pick also for the rookie wide receiver of the year. And everything that you said, like Alex, is absolutely spot on. Even I was going to sit there. I'm like, you know what? I'll try to pivot a little something different. I'll be like, I was going to ask a question though. That LSU ever put out any good wide receivers? I mean,
yeah.
They got a couple like Jamar, like you said, Jamar Chase, you said Jefferson, like Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. I mean, like they've put out some studs or whatever. And what you said, like he's up there at the upper echelon of those guys who have come out. The only question I will ask you, are you worried about, let's say Daniel Jones does go down, are you worried about QB play?
Is it Tyrod Taylor QB2? No,
I believe so, and I think DeVito is still there at S3.
No, no, I thought it was Drew Lock actually.
Oh no, you're right.
You're right. Drew Lock. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
It's rough no matter who the quarterback is that's on that roster. But I'm not going to be worried. We saw not the same player, but the LSU guy, Justin Jefferson, last year with who knows who at quarterback, just kind of rotating in and out. And that's with 2 years of savvy under his belt in the NFL. Still, Malik Neighbors, his job is to, get open and catch the ball. And I think he's one of the best at doing that.
Okay. Hey, I like it.
Me
Rich,
too.
I feel like you might have had somebody different that you want to talk about for your wide receiver rookie pick.
I did. You went with who could possibly be the best wide receiver out of this class. I'm going with the guy that landed in the best position or the best possible landing spot that he could have landed in. I'm going with Xavier Worthy. I love Xavier Worthy this year. He's one of my guys. He was one of my guys before he landed with the Chiefs, and when I saw that the Chiefs picked him up, it was like Christmas.
Yeah.
I was so excited because this is exactly what they've been missing. I'm not saying that he's Tyreek Hill, but he's what they've been missing since Tyreek Hill left. Okay. And I love more what Andy Reid compared him to, was saying that he's more like Deshaun Jackson. Like, okay. I can totally see him going out there and just dominating out on the field. The one thing that does worry me is the fact that Mahomes spreads the ball around. Like, he doesn't just focus on one person unless you're Travis Kelce. But he also is one of those. He's a quarterback that doesn't miss guys. Like, if he sees a guy is open, he's going to go for him. And Xavier Worthy is not just a speed guy. He knows how to run routes. He's good at running routes. He's going to get open a lot, and he is a speed guy to boot. So I see those two making a lot of connections early on, and it's going to be an explosive offense. I think. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I agree. I think so too. And like the thing what I don't mind the Chiefs, if the Chiefs are starting a dynasty or whatever, like, I mean, they've already won back-to-back Super Bowls and all this stuff. If they go out and they win a few more, I won't be mad as I was, with that last dynasty that lasted for 20-something years.
Right.
Yeah. In division. I get it. Yeah. That's brutal.
Yeah. So but I agree. I think that he did land in a great spot, and he really could feel a need, especially if he can hold on to the ball. Because I tell you what, Patrick Mahomes is a saint. I cannot be Patrick Mahomes, because if I'm watching you drop so many passes, then we fight.
Yeah, well, you saw they let go of Kadarius Toney like a week ago.
Yeah, they did. I mean, and like who was it that he hit in the face mask, like that Super Bowl, like against the Bucks, where he made like Superman throw, like he's horizontal to the ground, he throws it, and the ball was it Juju that he hit him right in the face mask and he didn't catch it. Anyhow, like
they just brought Juju back. I don't know why it's so hard for them to get receivers in the building that can catch. Man,
now you'd think that everybody would be clamoring, like
to
get there, but
it's the dream spot. Rich nailed it, man. I mean, it's what we've been waiting for. It's the reason I had to drop Sky Moore after reaching on him in the draft, because I want that next Tyreek Hill, and I mean, we know that Travis Kelce's time's almost up. So who's gonna take that guy's place? Like, if you think about it, Travis Kelce just kind of did a little contract thing, and he's got 2 years left on a deal. Doesn't matter when he actually retires, but point is, it's gonna happen, and by that point, Worthy might have a couple years under his belt, and him and Rashi have enough kind of veteran savvy to where they can lead that whole regime. And it doesn't hurt that he's the fastest player at the combine. So just super exciting, man.
Yeah, it really is. All right, so we're gonna move on from our wide receivers. We're gonna go to who we think is gonna have the best rookie tight end. Alex, again, we're coming to you, my friend. Like, what's your say?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice getting to go first. I like Brock Bowers, man. This guy, we just really haven't seen a tight end do what he's done. I mean, I think he's had the best college tight end season of all time. He's tops in most metrics. PFF has him as the top tight end in receiving grade and the whole time that they've been in existence and recorded all of this stuff. Most yak, most receiving yards, most forced missed tackles, most receiving touchdowns. This guy is just so good. If you look at he's only 6'3", right? But the BMI is still fine, 243 pounds. But I mean, yards after catch, 1,400 across his career. Yards per out run, 2.64. I mean, this guy is just crushing. Low drop rate. He's just breaking tackles left and right, and phenomenal highlights. This guy just looks so awesome, man. For a tight end in college, they don't always in offenses want to feature the tight end overtly. A lot of times they're blocking, and and if they do get catches, it's like a 20 catch season. But this was like a primary focus in their offense, and he helped them win 2 national titles. So I definitely think that once he gets his legs under him in the NFL, this guy's going to be a beast.
Yep. That's my pick as well. Like, I love Brock Bowers. The only thing that I'm worried about with Brock Bowers right now, he's going to Vegas, and that is Devontae Adams' show right now. Like, whether it's Gardner Minshew or whether it's Aiden O'Connell, they are going to pepper Adams just because, like, they lock in. But compared to the other, tight ends in this group, I really feel that his floor is much higher than the rest. But, Rich, I'm going to ask you who your pick is, because you might have a differing opinion on that.
I do. And this is, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't your normal take, just because of the fact that Brock Bowers probably is going to be the guy. I mean, I'm a little nervous about just the Raiders in general. I haven't had a lot of belief in what they're going to do there with the offense.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned with Bowers. I really like where Ben Sinnott landed, like we were talking about a little bit earlier. I love Cliff Kingsbury and what he does with the tight ends. Zach Ertz, like you were saying, Alex, earlier about him being more of a mentor. I think that, yeah, he's starting right now, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy for very long. He's going to end up just being a mentor for Ben Sinnott, and Ben Sinnott's going to come in and he's going to be the number 2 target, in my opinion. I think before the end of the season, he'll be the number 2 target in Washington there. So I mean, yeah, he's not the sexiest of picks, but I like him.
No, he's good.
Like
he can play, man.
Yeah, the nickname the Senator, and he's in Washington. I mean, it's like it's
Perfect.
It's writing.
Yeah, he's about to run that city.
Right.
All right, guys. So now we've come to the coup de grace. Like, this right here is just going to be something that I'm definitely going to come back and ask each one of you about. Like, when we get to this at the end of the season, when you're holding those short trophies, who will be this year's 2024 Dynasty MVP? Alex, coming to you first, my friend.
CD Lamb is going to be the Dynasty MVP, and he just had an incredible season, but I think he's going to break some Cowboys records, and I think that's going to be a huge season for him. You know, as a rookie, he had 217 points, right? You know, that's 25th all time for a rookie. And look, guys never looked back since then, because this last season he had 181 targets, 1,700.5 yards, 12 touchdowns, and all of that was for 403 fantasy points, which that's actually third most all time by any non-quarterback, and that's just behind Cooper Kupp and Jerry Rice. So CeeDee Lamb just put up a crazy season. There's no other wide receivers of significance around him, and you know, Brandon Cook's only getting a little bit older. I don't expect these other guys to take a step forward to the degree that it's going to hurt CeeDee Lamb. The run game hasn't gotten any better. If anything, it's actually gotten worse. So I just think they're going to be totally reliant on CeeDee Lamb to get it done. And this guy was averaging 27 points per game in those final 10 weeks of the season. So I can just see him keep that going to start this year. Like, he didn't even skip a beat.
100%. I agree
Absolutely.
with you. 100%. I feel the same way. I'm so high on CD this year. Like, I'm loving it. I can't wait to see how that all plays out. And everything you said, I was going to say, but you already said it and you said it better. So we're just going to roll with that. Rich, coming to you, my friend. Who is your Dynasty MVP this season?
Before I get into that, anybody else notice that Chris just took all the same players that Alex took and just let him talk first? I mean, that was smart. I feel
like nobody said anything about Jaden Daniels except for Dynasty Rehab. So I took everything he said.
Yeah. Hey, I got some chalk picks, but look, that's why you let me go first. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, sorry, Chris. I just had to give you a little grief. No. So I'm actually with you with CeeDee Lamb. Like, he is in Dynasty. He's my top pick right now. Like, just the consistency that he's going to have at the quarterback for who knows how long. And like, it would be Justin Jefferson, but we don't know actually how things are going to look there. So yeah, no, I love the CeeDee Lamb pick, but I'm going with just this year MVP Dynasty, same guy as it was last year, repeating. I think Christian McCaffrey stays healthy for 2 years, surprises the world, and just crushes it like he did already last year. I mean, the numbers that he put up there are just astronomical. You see what Shanahan can do with that offense. We talked a little bit about that. I think before this, but yeah, Shanahan is just an amazing offensive guru. Mm-hmm. So unless Christian McCaffrey goes down, and I don't see that happening, I really do think that he's going to be MVP once again.
Okay. I can't argue that. Like, I love to see CMC healthy. I mean, what he does out there in the field is absolutely amazing. Like, bravo to that guy. He's fun to watch, good guy to cheer for. So I agree with that also. And with that, Dynasty Rehab, we appreciate you hanging with us tonight, man. And you have a good night, sir. But with that, that is another episode of Dynasty 365. We appreciate so much, everybody in the chat hanging out with us. Big thanks to everyone who supported us by watching or listening. And a very special thanks to our guest tonight, Dynasty Football Key, Alex. Please tell the people where they can find you and your amazing content.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Dynasty Football Key. Find me on X at Dynasty F Key. And I'll be having some shows throughout the week. Also have a show on Tuesday, the Dynasty Stock Market with Biggs over there on the Player Profiler News channel.
Nice.
And I got a Monday show covering the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, with the Undroppables. It's called Cowboys Uncovered. So we're doing that Monday nights. So staying busy this season, but we're going to keep the content locked in for you guys. And I'm excited. Tomorrow's the big day. We're kicking off the season, man. So thank you guys for having me right as we're about to pop this thing off for another fun year.
Yep. Appreciate you coming on. Hey, and I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now. So before we go off air, the game tomorrow night, who you got? Alex.
All right. I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I hate to say it. Ravens are my family's team, but I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I just put out a pick'em show the other day, and I just seen Mahomes do it too much, man. The Ravens gotten too many chances. I haven't seen him get it done. It doesn't matter who's the weapon around Mahomes; he's getting it done, man.
All right, Rich. Ravens or Chiefs? Who you got?
Going with the Chiefs too. Yeah. I'm taking them every time. Like they didn't really take a step back in the defense. They got better on the offense. Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why you would go against them.
Well, I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go against them, because you said I said everything that Alex. So I'm taking the Ravens. Yeah, I really feel that the Ravens are going to come out there. Lamar still has that salty taste in his mouth, how he played in that game against them in the playoffs. Zay Flowers, he's got something to prove. That fumble and that timely penalty and everything. So they're coming out there to prove to these guys that, yes, we are here. We're ready to hang with you guys. And we'll see. We saw last year, the kickoff, the Chiefs lost, right?
Yeah, but guess who wasn't playing? Guess who wasn't playing in that game? Rich. Because it kind of looks like Kelsey.
He's a long-lost Kelsey brother.
Yeah, you need to get some of that podcast money that they got going on.
Right. I've been trying. I reach out every now and then and be like, hey, tell Mama Paula I say hi.
Yeah, you can at least be a stunt double, man.
Right.
Push stunt double for Hurts and get a couple of contracts that way. Yeah, man. Hey, Derrick Henry. That's the storyline I want to see. Can Derrick Henry lead the Ravens in rushing? Because it's been Lamar every other season.
This is true. He might not lead them in rushing, but he's going to lead them in touchdowns. Like he's going to get touchdowns. But I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad that you answered that question off the cuff. But thank you, everybody who's watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. We appreciate you. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow Alex at Dynasty FK, like he just told you. Follow Rich at Rich Sickles GBM, the ginger beard man himself. And you can find me at Dynasty Deviant. Visit us on our website, fantasyandframes.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you consume your favorite podcast. While you're there, if you would please just give us a like, subscribe, leave a review. Tell Rich you like that beard as much as I do. We'll greatly appreciate it. Also, hit that bell so that you're notified whenever new content drops. And Fantasy and Frames is going to bring you nonstop content throughout the season. If you like, our Fantasy and Frame shows, we got you covered. We're Dynasty 365 for all your Dynasty needs, and we will be coming to you through the season. We have the 4th and Frames, which comes with a redraft, and Shoot the Gap for your IDP content. And make sure to tune in on Tuesdays for the Waiver Wire show. Those guys are going to make sure that you're right and that you're scooping up all those waiver wires, getting all those guys. Again, thank you so much to our viewers, our listeners, those in the comments. Thanks to our special guest tonight. We appreciate you all. Now let's go out there and dominate and win some championships. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Good night.